Hello, everybody. As I said, my name is Dr. Chris Morris, and I'm in the UCL School of Pharmacy currently. And this is a rather splendid shot of our part of London, and UCL Central is highlighted here. And you'll also see the nearby Great Ormond Street Hospital, the Royal Courts of Justice, the British Museum. Euston Station is at the bottom here. And over in the east of London, we have the UCL East campus, which is a growing footprint of our university. The bottom right here, you have University College Hospital, which is one of our closest partners with which we collaborate extensively in the life and medical sciences. So within the School of Pharmacy, this is the building. This is the front entrance, a rather splendid entrance, which is blocked rather more splendidly by a cohort of MSc students on the Pharmaceutics and Pharmaceutical Formulation Entrepreneurship module. MSc course, taken a few years ago. And you will see a number of members of staff and some of the researchers at the back here, all smiling gracefully at the start of their course a few years ago. And the School of Pharmacy was founded a long time ago. It's over 180 years old, and it's founded in 1842. And until 2012, it was an independent part of the University of London. But in 2012, it merged with UCL, and we're now very proudly part of the very large UCL family. UCL is a university that, according to the slightly out-of-date stats, in 2024 was the 9th highest ranked university on the planet. And it was indeed founded in 1826. So we're coming up to our 200-year anniversary next year. And the university comprises over 4,000 academic staff, over 20,000 these days, undergraduate students and postgraduate students, and about a quarter of those postgraduate students are PhD level researchers, so about 5,500 to 6,000 PhD researchers. And since its establishment in almost 200 years ago, we've garnered over 34 Nobel laureates. So let's talk a little bit about the aim of the MSc Pharmaceutics course. The principal aim of it is to give students who are enrolled onto it the knowledge to design and develop cutting-edge medicines. Essentially, that's the formulation sciences, the application of fundamental principles in the biochemical, chemical, physical sciences to turn a drug substance, be it a small molecule or a large molecule, into a medicine that can be administered safely to a patient so it reproducibly delivers the correct dose. And what we seek to do within the MSc Pharmaceutics as this postgraduate taught course is to equip students with the transferable skills that are needed to develop careers in the pharmaceutical industry, internationally or nationally, or indeed in the academic environment. So what is the typical pathway onto and off of the MSc Pharmaceutics course at UCL? Well, we take students from a range of backgrounds, either within the pharmaceutical sciences, within a pharmacy degree, either in the UK or outside the UK. They'll then undertake the one-year course in pharmaceutics, and typically we graduate a range of students that go on to a wide variety of destinations. So some of them will move into the UK pharmaceutical industry, such as Pfizer and GSK, Bristol Myers Squibb, many biotech companies that are in the London, Oxford, Cambridge area and elsewhere in the United Kingdom. Some of them go on to do further study, either through a PhD or another type of further study in the pharmaceutics area. And this, of course, often results in entry into the pharmaceutical industry at a slightly higher level or back into academia after postdoctoral research posts. Many students that we recruit onto the course are of international origin, and many of them return back to their home countries to either take industrial or academic positions in PhD or industry. And some of them also go off into healthcare consultancies, such as Cambridge Healthcare Research, UK, IQVIA, and many other companies in the UK or internationally. So the course itself starts at the typical time in late September, and up until the Christmas break and the January start in the new year, you have a 60 credit term, which comprises the taught modules. In the second term, which typically runs between January and March, you have a second tranche of 60 credit bearing taught modules. And then the third term is essentially comprised completely of the research project. And that typically runs from early May until around August time when the project theses are submitted. And that also garners 60 credits to take it to a total of 180. So the reason why we have two terms of taught modules is that this is a master's level course. So we need to increase the educational levels up to master's level, but it's also to account for the fact that several of our students haven't studied pharmaceutical sciences in their first undergraduate degree, and therefore there's a certain amount of teaching up to the correct level in the appropriate content. So students understand the basis of what a drug molecule is, the differences between small and large molecules, how they behave, what are the physical properties and chemical properties that make drugs challenging to formulate, and then, of course, how we can apply pharmaceutical engineering and pharmaceutical sciences more broadly to make medicines that are appropriate for administration safely to patients. And then the specialization in a project area of a student's particular interest lay in the third term between May and August. So the overall structure is thus: you have a module on analysis and quality control, one on pre-formulation, the formulation of small molecules, and personalized medicine within term one. Within term two, I should say in the term one modules, they are in the pharmaceutics course all compulsory. There are no choices there. In term two, you have the pharmaceutical biotechnology module, which is slightly different and builds upon the underpinning modules in term one. And biotechnology module is principally about the development of non-small molecule structures, so RNA-based medicines, protein-based medicines, antibody drug conjugates, and so on. And then within the pharmaceutics course, students have the choice of 3 optional modules in which they can choose a more specialist area that may align with their interests. We have modules on nanomedicine, natural products and cosmeceuticals, polymers in drug delivery, pharmacometrics, computational pharmaceutics, or regulatory affairs and quality assurance. And your choice of courses that you wish to, optional courses that you wish to undertake in term two is made at the start of term one, so we can prepare the relevant lab classes and so on. And as highlighted before, after the exam period, which in the main UCL, in the third term, you have the research project that runs throughout the summer months. But throughout the entire 180 credit 1 year long course, there is a program of support tutorials that we offer our students that help students to identify areas and transferable skills that they're currently lacking, that they're going to need in order to take further academic study or to move into pharmaceutical industry. And this can be particularly important if students don't have a pharmaceutical sciences background. So these support tutorials are extremely important for those students. So a little bit more detail about who's involved in the modules and so on. So in term one, as I said, the compulsory modules are FA31, Analysis and Quality Control. That's run by Dr. Sebastian Gergel. You have the pre-formulation module, FA32, run by Professor Abdul Basit. You have FA33, which is the formulation of small molecules module, which is run by Professor Simon Gaisford. And you have personalized medicine, also known as FA34, run by Professor Mine Orlo. They're the compulsory modules. And moving on to the final compulsory module that runs in term two, that's run by Professor Jenny Lam, and it covers pharmaceutical biotechnology. And then you have these choices of the optional modules. So you have nanomedicines run by Dr. Soma. You have formulation of natural products and cosmeceuticals run by Dr. Magella Lane, polymers in drug delivery, which check, yes, there is a photo of Dr. Karolina Jemijovic, and pharmacometrics is run by Professor Joe Standing, whose photo is just here. Regulatory affairs and quality assurance is run by Dr. Khalid Sheikh, and computational pharmaceutics is run by Dr. David Shorthouse. So let's wrap up with the third term element of the course. And personally, I think this is the largest and the most important module of the course, and it's often the element of the MSc Pharmaceutics that students are most keen to get started with, because it's a real opportunity to take a long run at a contemporary pharmaceutical challenge within London, within the School of Pharmacy, within the general area of pharmaceutical sciences. And it's one that students get most excited about. They're typically very, very keen to get going with this. And I would say approximately 90% of the students that study the research project within this MSc course undertake their research projects within the Department of Pharmaceutics or elsewhere at the UCL. And there are places outside the UCL School of Pharmacy, such as the Department of Biochemical Engineering, the UCL School of Chemistry, or the Eastman Dental Institute, where a handful of our students are hosted each year, still within the pharmaceutical sciences area, but just hosted by one of our willing colleagues who's keen to supervise a student in their own department. We also have, and this is subject to change, so we can't mention any numbers of students that are open or the particular names of hosts, but some students will be hosted by industrial partners or NHS, that's National Health Service for the international listeners, NHS partner hospitals or other clinical research groups. The project itself typically lasts for around 14 weeks, and usually each student within the MSc Pharmaceutics cohort is mentored and tutored and instructed by either a PhD student that's undertaking normally a project very similar to, or the students may indeed be contributing to a PhD student's project, or there may be a postdoctoral researcher, that's somebody who's got a PhD already, but still working within the lab as an employee, and they will also be helping you with your project. And the question you may be thinking is, how is this project assessed? It's composed of three components. It's a written report in the form of a thesis that warrants 80% of the final grade. You have a 10% weighting for a research project presentation, which is given to a small group of your peers at the end of the year after you've submitted your thesis. And then there's an assessment of the working pattern and the working ethic of the students. And that's a mark given by the supervisor of the student, the MSc Pharmaceutics student, on how they've progressed. What was their attitude? Did they integrate well into the group? And did they follow all of the necessary working regulations, such as health and safety guidance? And one of the things that we're delighted to say is that many of our past MSc Pharmaceutics students have contributed significant portions to published research papers. And on this slide, we've got a couple of examples over the last, since the MSc course began, of how students who are highlighted in bold have contributed, in some cases, first author publications in pharmaceutical journals, or co-authors in larger projects that were probably meant that they were contributing data to a much wider part of a large project. So this is truly delightful to see our students publishing cutting-edge data from our labs. So that's about the taught elements and the research project, which sits in term 3. But a few words on what else we offer to any students that attend our MSc or enroll within our MSc Pharmaceutics course. So you have a full induction week program at the beginning of the academic year, in which you'll be given a building induction, you'll be shown around the campus. You will be given a full briefing on the structure of the course. You will be introduced to your academic advisor, who will be there to provide both pastoral and academic guidance and support to you. You'll have invitations to departmental seminars or webinars that will give you opportunity to delve into a lot more detail in topics that you may find of interest. There is an ever-changing tutorial schedule in which we ask our industrial colleagues, some of whom have graduated from the MSc in pharmaceutics and gone on to establish their own companies or to work in major pharmaceutical industry, to give tutorials on contemporary pharmaceutical challenges or technologies that are emerging. And then within the broader UCL infrastructure, we will introduce you and strongly encourage all students to engage with the careers team, who are there to help you hone your CV, to develop your skill set, and how to really get the most out of your career progression whilst you're in London in the UCL School of Pharmacy. And on top of all of that, we have a series of social events as well, where you get to meet the academic staff that are involved in the course, and you get to socialize with your colleagues and peers within the MSc Pharmaceutics and other MSc courses that are also hosted by the School of Pharmacy. And a little bit, so many in the past, many students who are of an international origin have asked about holidays and working, if they have to book flights in advance to travel home to see family. A reminder that the course is a 1-year, 52-week full-time course, and especially for students who arrive and study on a visa, it's extremely important that you're mindful of the requirements of the visa to engage fully within the taught elements of the course. And the Learning and Teaching Office downstairs in the School of Pharmacy will be checking these records to make sure that you're getting full engagement and are compliant with the visas that you may be studying under. But of course, there are opportunities to take holidays in the university closures at the Christmas time, at the end of the year, and at Easter time in the spring, when the university is shut. Of course, you will be entitled to and indeed encouraged to take some rest breaks, so you can most effectively contribute to your own studies. But for those who wish to work when they're studying, you can work up to a maximum of 20 hours per week, but we always encourage our students to think carefully about how much work they are engaging in, paid work that is, so they are mindful of the balance that's required to deliver on a 1-year full-time MSc level course at UCL. So that's a broad overview of the MSc course in pharmaceutics that we offer here. I've included on the slide there my name and my email address. If anybody wishes to post any questions in the chat, I'm also happy to take them now. So if you have specific queries about the course, the content, feel free to email me. If there's anything more general around admissions, visas, general work and enrollment within UCL, the email sop.pgt@UCL is the inbox for the learning and teaching team, and that's probably the group of people that would be best suited to answering generic questions about enrollment. So thank you very much for your attention. I'm happy to take any questions now. If you want to either come on camera and say them or put them in the chat, either way is fine by me. Thank you. That will come through loud and clear, Ian?
Yep, all brilliant, and we've got a couple of questions in the chat already.
Okay. Will we be recording this part as well?
Yes, this part would be recorded as well.
Right. So let me just find the chats. Oh, that's your message, Ian. I was just reading yours. Can we choose a subject more than optional provided by the program? So if I understand correctly, the question is about whether students can take other optional modules and bring those credits into the MSc Pharmaceutics. Unfortunately, not. We've designed the modules such that they are aligned with the learning outcomes and the general aim of the pharmaceutics course. That course has recently been accredited by the Royal Society of Chemistry in the United Kingdom. So there is a possibility that if students graduate with the MSc in pharmaceutics and they have the appropriate qualifications before the MSc in chemistry, then they can apply to become chartered chemists. But that's an application that is submitted by the student and is reliant upon a student completing accredited, RSC accredited courses. So the next one would be, could you tell which optional courses are more related to knowledge about drug development and the industrial level, such as knowledge about manufacturing processes? So the ones that I would say are most directly pharmaceutically relevant would be the quality control and regulatory affairs. I think I've got the name of that module slightly incorrect. Bear with me a second. This is the one that's led by Professor Khalid Sheikh. Regulatory affairs and quality assurance. Sorry, apologies, I mixed those up a little bit. So that is though that module particularly deals with the current guidelines and monographs and specifications that are required for batch release of medicines, for example. Computational pharmaceutics is a hot topic, let's say, in the AI in general, and machine learning is particularly hot topic in contemporary pharmaceutical industry. So although not directly delivered as in an industrial angle, it is highly applicable to contemporary industrial practice. The other modules will of course all of them include contemporary applications in industry of pharmaceutical sciences, but there is none specifically aimed at discussing manufacturing processes. If an applicant were to wish to look at those kind of detailed industrial applications of manufacturing, of course, in the biochemical engineering faculty might be slightly more appropriate, I would say. Hello, is Ian. I think Ian's dropped out to start up the next call. I'm happy to take any more questions. If not, then please do feel free to send an email. With 1 minute to go, I'm happy to let you all go back to whatever you were doing. There are no more questions. Okay, thank you very much for your time, and I hope you decide to apply to the course to come and join us. And if you do have any other queries, email either me or the postgraduate taught office. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.